Hello, I'm Paddy from creativemedia.org.uk. I've said that a lot of times over the last, I'm not quite sure how many years it is, but I've just made 500 YouTube videos in total. 500. So I thought I would do a kind of bit of a look back, both at what I do, what I use, why I do it, and what I've made. And yeah, which things I'm more proud of and less proud of. I'm not sure about the less proud of. I uploaded my first video to YouTube on the 7th of July 2007, and it's now May 2024, so that makes it 17 years. 17 years, wow. So I've been on YouTube for 17 years. It probably shows. I've got certainly greyer hair than I had back then. My first video was an entry to a short film competition called Depict, which I think is still running in Bristol, and I was quite pleased with it, but it didn't win any prizes. And it's had 385 views in 17 years, so not super popular. And I made that one on a tape camera, a digital tape, so that would be DV tape. And things have moved on quite a bit since then. I don't touch tape anymore. I hate tape. It's just such a pain. What am I using? Well, I'm using quite a lot of old equipment. Here's one thing I like to use sometimes. It's a very old Kodak camera for which came out before everyone had a camera on their phones. And it shoots, so you simply press the button and it shoots video or stills. You can choose your mode. And it's waterproof to about 3 or 4 meters, and it's quite useful. I've made myself some brackets with a CCTV camera on and a hole drilled, and these are just the clips you get at market stalls to hold the tarpaulins on the top. So I can attach that to that. And if I'm filming an event and I just want a wide shot of the back of the event, I just clip these to a door frame, leave them running. If somebody steals it, it's not particularly expensive. It's a bit of a pain. I reckon you could pick one of these up for £10, £15 second hand now. So they're really useful cameras, and they shoot at, I think it's 720p video, but 720 is still useful. So that's those. For the slightly more advanced camcorder, this is quite an old Panasonic SD800 3-chip camera, so nice and small, autofocus, auto everything, unless you want to switch on the manual modes, but that's just really useful for stuff, you just want to press play, you want it to be in focus, you don't want to mess around with lots of complicated stuff and setting the aperture and the shutter speed and thinking a lot. So I use this a lot for filming events like music events when I'm not going to be manning the cameras. If I'm shooting something when I am manning the cameras, I've got my 2 Panasonic cameras, the GH1 and a GH2. These are pretty old. Not very good for stills. Even the much newer GH5 I tried some stills on that, and I wasn't impressed with the quality of the stills on that one either. The edges, when you looked in closely, the edges of everything always seem to be kind of like torn. So I use a Canon 80D for stills. That's what I'm actually filming on at the moment. I could show you that in this handy mirror, couldn't I? Yes. So here is the Canon 80D and my microphone up here, and a ring light which somebody gave me, which is very nice, to add a bit of extra light. That runs off USB, so that's very convenient. So the Panasonics. This one I've bought a very nice lens. The lens was a lot more than the camera cost. This is a f2.8. What is it? 1235, and with a crop factor of 2, which this camera has, that's like a 2470. But the quality of image from this lens is just really nice. I often don't need to sharpen or add any curves or anything to it in post. It just looks nice. But these are really good cameras, and they're hackable as well, so you can update the firmware and mess around with the compression rates and whether it shoots in PAL mode or 30 frames per second, the NTSC, well not NTSC, but the American standards. So you've got all the different frame rates, because a lot of cameras are fixed to either 25 frames per second or 30, and when you need the option of both, one of these is a really good choice. GH1 can only shoot in 720 by 1280. This one will shoot in 1920. So yeah, that's a very, very worthwhile camera, even though it's quite a lot of years old now. It's still worth having, I'd say. Well, it's worth having. I'm still having it. What else? Is that it for my cameras? I always feel like I've got dozens of cameras, but actually not that many, really. And I use them all every now and then. So for sound, currently I'm recording. I really am recording. Just checking that on my trusty old Tascam DR100. I really like this recorder. I've got a microphone plugged into it at the moment using phantom power with a proper XLR plug. It's got real plugs. But the output is a mini jack. I don't know why I haven't got a full-size jack. Probably there's not enough space inside. So yeah, that's really good. It's got a limiter as well. You've got a choice of inputs. You've got directional mics. You've got omnidirectional mics. So if you want a recorder, it's still very much worth looking out for this. There's proper record level knobs on there, not kind of button pressing to set the limits. Having a limiter is great so you don't overload your recording if you accidentally talk too loud. So I really rate this, and if I lost this, I'd buy the same thing again, I think, because I know it and it works nicely. It's also got two sets of batteries. It's got a lithium ion and, oh no, it's in the side, and AA's, so you can have two battery sources, so when one runs out, the other one carries on going. I always use power in this anyway, because I don't trust batteries if I can help it. Good, so let's look at some of the videos. So yeah, we've already seen my oldest one, which is a kind of drama. I really don't do drama on the whole. I do factual stuff, reviews. My channel's very mixed, which might be why I've not really achieved YouTube success. Well, I have achieved YouTube success, but not in a sort of monetization sense, which is the thing I'm always chasing. I was monetized for several years, and then pesky YouTube changed the rules of how many views you had to have. So now you need a absolutely bonkers 4,000 hours of views in a year and over 1,000 subscribers in order to get any money, which, you know, all the big boys and the big girls can do that. And I think the argument at the time was that some people had been, you know, misusing YouTube and posting unpleasant stuff and copying other people's material, such like, so they had to sort of stop paying people like me in order to afford more moderators and such like. Well, I mean, I've not put up much, if any, copyright stuff. I tend to make it all myself, which is why the quality is somewhat limited. So I felt it was a bit unfair. But anyway, enough rant there. Let's see the least popular video. Let's look at that. Yeah, so some of my gig videos, I used to kind of video a lot of gigs and then realised that I just wasn't getting people watching them. So I kind of, yeah, it's selfish, but the reason I make videos is because I'm trying to get more views so I can get monetization. I'm going to do it for fun as well. But that's a lot of it. And if it's going to take several hours of time to make a video and it's not going to get watched, I'm really not that interested in making it. Let's choose this as one of my weirder videos and one of my least views videos. There's an event which happens around the world actually called Window Wonderland, and it involves people decorating their windows and other people walk around the streets and look in people's windows. It's a really nice idea. Somebody I met in Bristol came up with it, and me being me, every year I want to do something a bit different, and it usually involves something digital with a projector. And during the coronavirus lockdown, well, everyone was distancing and trying not to catch coronavirus. So I thought it'd be fun to make a video, project it on the pavement, and then when people walk past, they'd have to try not to step on coronavirus. So that's what this video was. I don't know if people really got it, but I did it like a game. And even around the edge of the screen, we've got the green and yellow stripes, which in the UK was a part of the safety posters. All had these green and yellow stripes. So yeah, not very popular, but let's not advertise this person's machine. Yeah, not very popular, but I was quite pleased with it, and it was fun to make. So that's that one. So let's choose that as the least popular, and let's go to the most popular now. This video is bizarre. I shot this on a DV camera back when tape was around. Yeah, shortly after I opened my channel, and for who knows what reasons, it became massively popular. So this is my most popular video with nearly 150,000 views. Small fry in terms of YouTube viewings, but for me that's a lot of views. I've not advertised it really or pushed it anywhere. It's just organically had lots of views. And The Matrix was a film on TV at the time. Look at that, in 4:3 as well. It's 4:3 video, not 16:9, so that shows its age. Yeah, The Matrix was, I think The Matrix 2 was out, and there's a scene where somebody's fighting off the robots with these two guns on long tubes. So I just thought it'd be fun. Me and my friend Klaus both have Henry Hoovers, and we thought it'd be just fun to blow some bubbles and suck them up with Henry. And actually, I've shot this backwards. My whole idea was if I filmed it and then played it back in reverse, it should look like the bubbles were coming out of the tubes rather than going in. You don't really get the effect. Here's some great slow motion. Obviously at 25 frames per second, it's somewhat jerky. And I edited this on Final Cut Pro on a big Mac Pro, one of the big silver ones, which weighs half a ton. It was lots of fun to make and had lots of views. I made a follow-up which hasn't had anything like the same amount of views. This was 16 years later. And I shot this one. Oh, I've got adverts. So somebody's making money out of my videos, just not me. Not fair. I've got a very odd hairstyle there. This one, we had a bit of a chat before we started, and we've got the original Henrys there, and Klaus has got his original clothes on as well, which is wonderful. But we shot this one on a 360 camera. So if I can get into the actual video itself. Where is it? There we go. I'm on a very slow connection here at the moment, so it might take a while. Oh, no, that's the Matrix scene I was talking about. Let's get to the video itself. Here we go, yeah. So this was shot on the 360 camera, so I can add all the motion afterwards in post-production. And slightly more advanced laser beams than I did in the first one. I got some messing around speed, but this one being shot at 120 frames per second means I can actually do some decent slow motion. And sound effects and stuff, I'm a lot more advanced than I was then with my abilities. But yeah, lots of fun. And I actually got a real bubble machine for that, so I didn't have to. I think the original one, it was hand blown bubbles, not hand blown, but breath blown bubbles. So they're kind of very organic. Yeah, so some rather more advanced video effects in this one, but still somewhat naive because my skills are limited, even though I've got the nice software. But that was a lot of fun to make. But so far it's had 197 views in total, yeah. So a long way from the 150,000. But interestingly, that's nearly 7 hours of viewing it's had with less than 200 views. So people have watched a decent chunk of it. So it's not really all about the views. It's about how much time people have spent watching it. So if you can get, 10 people to watch a video all the way through, that's worth a lot more than 100 people watching, 20 seconds of it or something. That's one which hasn't really had the views. Even though it's on the same subject as a very popular one, it's just not been watched. Interestingly, with the original one, somebody was posting that they'd seen it when they were a kid 10 years ago. And that just, I felt like quite touching that there's sort of nostalgia for one of my videos. That's something I've made. Okay, a surprising video. Yes, let's go for the hammer hack. I just was taking drain cover off and sort of hooking my fingers underneath it, and it's all kind of slime and mud and stuff underneath the hooks, and thinking this is quite unpleasant. I wonder if there's an easy way of doing this. And I happened to have a hammer nearby. I grabbed a hammer and hooked it underneath, and it balanced perfectly. It was just like a lifting handle. So I thought I'd do a very quick video just on my phone. I don't think I even edited it. I just did it on my phone, uploaded it from the phone. No grading, no work at all on it. And this one has had a massive amount of views. So over 10,000 views since I published it November 2021. So that's in less than 3 years. It's had 10,000 views and 95.5 hours of watching. It's only 30 and a bit seconds long. So that's quite something. The lesson from that maybe is that just make a video and it might be popular and it might not be. This is one of my surprising, my bike rack hack. That just suddenly had loads of views. I didn't push it anywhere particularly. It just suddenly got lots of views. So you can see in the graph there, I published it and then it zoomed up to 730 views in quite a short period of time, in a couple of days. I've had a few videos like that and I've really no idea what makes that happen. If I knew, it'd be great. Some of my woodworking ones as well, I've put them on and had. Oh, and one of my penny whistling ones as well. The British Grenadiers. I played a penny whistle, the British Grenadiers, and that had something like a couple of thousand views within a couple of days. And I didn't, advertise it anywhere particularly. It just got those views. And I did another whistling one of another tune, which I thought might be similarly popular, and it had very few views. I've got a web page and a kind of a playlist called Whistle It, where I try and advertise penny whistling and try and get some people to visit my website from that and click on the adverts and maybe give a donation to download a penny whistle music, which has had very limited success. Though speaking of monetary success, back when I was getting money for videos, I found the best way to make money out of a pop video, because I'm a musician, I make pop videos amongst other things. The best way to do that is to put it on YouTube, and I made several pounds out of a few hundred views on one of my songs. And if you compare that to what you get from a couple of hundred listens on Spotify or one of the other streaming platforms, I think you wouldn't have got anywhere near that much money. So that's worthwhile. But my most money-making video is, let's see if we can find this, this one here. This is my most money-making video. Has that got adverts? Yeah. So this is one I was just telling people about how great Inkscape is, and it is great. Free bit of software, really good for vector graphics and drawing. I use it a lot. This video didn't make any money at all from advertising or from sponsorship or anything. This had 72 views, so hardly any views, albeit 4.9 hours of views, which is quite nice. But the way I made a lot of money out of this was that somebody I know saw it when I shared it on Facebook, and they asked if I knew anyone that could do some graphic design work for them. And I said, let me try. And yeah, I've earned, I think, over £2,000 from the work I did for him. Obviously, I had to do hours and hours and hours of work as well to earn that £2,000, but this video is the way that I earned quite a lot of money. It's not just about advertising or even influencing or sponsorship. If you can just make videos that get you out there, then that's a good thing. And yeah, if I have got a regret, I made a video, one of my gig videos of somebody, and I got a message from them sometime later on to say to ask me to take it down and remove it from YouTube, because they said I think they'd applied to go to play at a festival, and somebody watched a video and said, actually, you're not really good enough for our festival. So I I like to think it was maybe the quality of their playing as well as the quality of my video, but I felt a bit bad that my video had stopped them getting a gig, getting a paid gig, and obviously I took that down when asked. But yeah, putting up stuff that people don't like is definitely a mistake, and I think I'd agreed with them at the time that I could put the video online, but taking stuff down quickly when people ask you to is definitely a lesson worth learning. The video that was the most work, and maybe the most work for the amount of views it's had, I'd say this is Jailbreak. Let's look at the analytics and see how depressing this is. So this was one of my pop songs, a cover of a Thin Lizzy song. And yeah, I put in a lot of work creating the track and programming all the music, recording my singing and all the harmonies, mastering, mixing, and then making a whole world for the video. I did this using Blender, so I don't know how many hours of work I put in. Another advert. Oh, I can earn £1 million per person. That would surprise me. Let's avoid that. Yeah, so I made this world in Blender and animated it all. And yeah, this would be quite impressive maybe in the early 90s as CGI. But I think in 2024, 2023, I made this. It's not very impressive at all. In fact, I'm slightly embarrassed by it. But I do like these misty scenes. And my crazed prisoner trying to escape from the jail. I love this. Anyway, yeah, I was quite pleased with some of the effects in it, some of the 3D animation. It's the first time I've done any kind of proper animated world like this. So yeah, this was a massive amount of work and not very many views, but I think the music's rather good. And that seems to be the bit of a theme with my music. It doesn't get that many views, even though I've put in a lot of work on it. If you're doing reviews, I'd say review something that's a product that doesn't change and it's going to stay relevant for a long time. I've had some quite popular reviews of some machinery, and if you just have an opportunity to use something which not many people get their hands on, make a video review. Why not? Because then you'll get what's called the long tail. On the internet, there's millions and millions of people, so even that small proportion of people that are interested in rare and peculiar things, there'll still be thousands of them, and you'll get thousands of views, in theory, if you can get your video out there and get it found. If you've got an idea and you want to make a video, then do it, and it might become popular, and if it doesn't, then it's a good experience, it's fun to do. And if you don't enjoy making videos, then don't make them. But I clearly do, I think, because I've been making these for, well, over 17 years, really, but publishing them for that long. And I'm going to carry on. Maybe I'll do another 500. What's coming up? How about that? What's coming up? Well, for me, what's coming up is currently live in Bristol. I was going to can I pan the camera around and show the outside of Bristol? That's probably very bright sunlight, and you can't see a thing. That's Bristol outside my window. Yeah, I'm going to be moving, fingers crossed, out of Bristol soon, I hope. So there will be some more rural videos coming up. I've already been out and about doing lots of cat sits with trusted house sitters. We might do a trusted house sitter video to share our tips on what's worked for us. And yeah, I'm going to be doing some more woodworking videos. My usual mix of random things, more music, more of everything, but more space. And I might be able to get some more equipment, which of course I'll be doing reviews of. And yeah, what else would I say? For people who want to make videos, buy old second-hand stuff. If it works and it's lasted long enough to become second-hand, like this camera and things like that, it's less harsh on the environment. You don't need really fancy stuff. You know, I've got you probably saw that when I panned the camera around. There's a clip-on lamp here. Not a clip-on lamp, but a angle poised light. that's a really brilliant light for video. It's got a LED array of lights in there, which is pretty bright. And yeah, I can light things up and get really good pictures. And light is good. If you can get a lot of light in your shot, then even a really cheap and nasty camera like this will give you pretty good quality results, as opposed to using a really fancy camera but having no light. Oh, I can't remember, my recording stopped. I had a little stop there, and that's one thing I forgot to mention about my GH1, GH2 cameras. I think the latest GH cameras aren't hackable anymore, but the great thing with these is that cameras like my 80D, which I'm filming on now, that just stopped recording because it reached the 29 minutes 59 seconds recording limit. These ones you can hack, so you can record for as long as you like until the card runs out. So that's definitely worth having. If you're filming an event, you really don't want a camera that's going to stop and have to keep restarting, because sync's a nightmare for a start and you're going to miss the contents. So yeah, good light, good sound, get yourself a decent mic. I've got this, I'm going to move it now. I got this just out of the shot. This is a shotgun mic, which is very directional, and it's probably making lots of noise now because I'm shaking it around. Very directional, and it's not far from my mouth, but it's just in shot now. Professionalism, got to get out. Yeah, it's about a span away from my mouth, so it's picking up my sound really quite well. And it's not in the shot, so getting really good sound in your recordings is really worthwhile. I use one of the artificial intelligence audio enhancer things as well. I use the Adobe one, which improves my voice somewhat and gets rid of background noise. But if you overdo it, it can be quite weird, and it can turn your words into kind of weird words like that, which is really not what you want. But good sound is even better than good pictures in videos. If people can't understand what you're saying, they're not going to watch your video. And it's just tiring on the ears. If you're watching a long video and it's uncomfortable to listen to, then people are going to go somewhere else and you're not going to get those hours of views that you want. If people can stomach the sound and the images are interesting enough, then they'll carry on listening, I think. And they might even just, switch to a different tab, but carry on listening like a sort of audio recording, which I don't know why somebody's going to want to be watching me particularly. Anyway, that's enough. So thanks for watching, and thanks for watching my videos in particular. Please do subscribe, and please watch what I do. Hopefully there'll be something that tickles your fancy, as it were. And ignore the other ones and share them with other people you think might like them. Cheers!